our sun. A big ball of warmth and light. If you're like a lot of people, you might go to the nearest window, open the blinds, and let the morning sunshine warm your face. Your day-to-day life gets appreciably more pleasant when the sun comes out, and the flowers start to bloom. As humans and all the living things on Earth really enjoy the warmth of the sun, it is impossible to understand how important the sun is to our existence, and all the other planets in our solar system, which are affected by the huge gravitational field of the sun. Now, let's imagine for a moment, what would happen if our sun suddenly disappeared. The last bunch of photons started their final journey toward Earth. After 8 to 10 minutes the sky starts to turn dark. The sudden shift in light is easily visible if you are on the day cycle. The moon becomes invisible as there is no sunlight for it to reflect. Panic among the people would rise. The authorities and the scientists will be in shock and won't have a clue as to what is happening. On a larger scale, the removal of the sun would also remove its protective magnetic field from around our solar system. This field, known as the Helios heath, protects us from a lot of radiation and particles from outside our solar system by deflecting them away from us. Without the sun's warmth, Earth would quickly become a much colder place. But Earth can retain heat much effectively for a few days, so the human won't freeze to death. Within a week, the average global surface temperature would drop below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. In a year, it would dip to -100 degrees. The top layers of the oceans would freeze over. Without the sun's rays, the most important part of human survival, oxygen, will not be produced. Photosynthesis, the process of converting sunlight to energy, would halt immediately, and most plants would die in a few weeks. And, eventually, all animals that rely on plants for food would die. It would also be severe enough that humans and many other life forms wouldn't be able to survive without a steady source of energy and heat. Humans could live in submarines in the deepest and warmest parts of the ocean. The places having geothermal energy would stay warm for a while. One good place to camp out, Iceland. The island nation already heats 87% of its homes using geothermal energy. Although the frozen top layers of the oceans would insulate the deep waters below, keeping them liquid for hundreds of thousands of years, they would eventually freeze as Earth moved toward a stable average global surface temperature of about -400 degrees Fahrenheit. Although some microorganisms living in the Earth's crust would survive, and continue to exist and go on with their normal life. As we know, the sun doesn't merely heat the Earth. It also keeps the planet in orbit. If its mass suddenly disappeared, the planet would simply float off into outer space. Among other dangers, Earth could eventually ram into a comet, meteor, or even another planet. Or in a worst-case scenario, Earth could end in the gravity of a huge black hole. But all this is just a theory. Our sun is so young that it could last for 1 billion years. After that, the sun will run out of fuel in its interior. It'll cease the internal thermonuclear reactions that enable stars to shine. It'll swell into a red giant, whose outer layers will engulf Mercury and Venus and likely reach the Earth. Life on Earth will end. Finally, the sun would explode as a supernova. We can be sure that the human race would have created interstellar travel, and would have colonized different planets in the galaxy and escaped this catastrophe.